I hope this doesn't come as a surprise to you, but I really enjoy this. I know I'm weird, but there's a reason that for over a year and a half now, every week I share a 5-minute devotional on Revelation. Like, nobody put me up to this. Nobody said, well, I think you should do a weekly teaching on Revelation. I think it's fun. That being said, I have really been looking forward to chapter 12 of an already fascinating book. This is one of those chapters I just couldn't wait to get to. Without further ado, chapter 12, verse 1 begins, "A great sign appeared in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head." Okay, I can't help it. We're in chapter 12, but let me digress a moment. At the end of chapter 11, we're told the kingdom of the Lord and the Messiah has come. The time for judgment has arrived, and the rewarding of God's people. Then John sees the temple in heaven open with the ark inside, and it's followed by this incredible theophany. Revelation should be over at that point. Next page should be your index or concordance. Like, the Bible's done. Except it's not. John still has more to tell us because there's more that he saw. Now, this is key. What John sees next isn't necessarily what happened next. As I read in chapter 12 begins with the phrase, "A great sign appeared in heaven." And this subsection continues through chapter 15, where John states in chapter 15, verse 1, "I saw in heaven another great and marvelous sign." It's at that point that we pick up with the final cycle of 7. Now, if you're familiar with John's gospel, you know that signs are a pretty important feature. John arranges a significant portion of his gospel around 7 signs that Jesus performed, beginning with the turning of water into wine at Cana, through the raising of Lazarus from the dead in Bethany. Now, with that in mind, we might expect these signs in chapters 12 and 15 are connected to Jesus. And further, they're not merely signs, but great signs. In Greek, great is mega, so we're talking mega signs. Mega is an apt descriptor for what John sees. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. We're not talking about somebody wearing a dress decorated by the sun or bright like the sun. She was clothed with it, and the moon is under her feet, suggesting, well, she's pretty big. Previously, we encountered a large angel who had 1 foot on the land, 1 foot on the sea. She makes that angel appear tiny by comparison. Now, John tells us she's wearing a crown, which Revelation has taught us through various passages, like chapter 2:10, 3:11, chapter 4, verses 4 and 10. Crowns are a sign of faithfulness, or should I say a reward for faithfulness. Now, continuing at the cosmic motif of her attire, on her crown were 12 stars, which recalls Joseph's dream in Genesis 37, in which his brothers were 11 stars bowing down to him. Joseph would have been the 12th. The stars, therefore, in all likelihood, represent the reconstituted 12 tribes of Israel. Therefore, many suggest this woman is representative of Israel. Of course, nothing in Revelation is that simple, is it? John continues in verse 2, she was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. And for many of us today, it doesn't set off any bells and whistles, but in John's day, many listeners of a Jewish background may have heard in it an echo to Genesis 3:16. To the woman, he said, "I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor, you will give birth to children." But the allusion would not have simply been to verse 16, but also the promise made in 15. God said to the serpent, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." Not only does the text invite us to wonder about the identity of the woman, likewise it invites the listeners to wonder Is this child the one to crush the serpent's head? Well, we're out of time. There's more to come next week.